Hey guys, it's Rick. It's the final video of the 21 day challenge. So I didn't post a whole lot this last week. I was out of town in Virginia, and I didn't bring my laptop with me, so wasn't really able to do a whole lot with the videos. I could still shoot them on my phone, but I couldn't upload them to my website or anything. So um, they just don't have a phone app for that, and it doesn't work well. But I did do a lot of work this week. Um, I'm going to be honest. I had a cheat day on the 15th. In the middle of this, I visited a friend of mine in Virginia, and something we had in common is we like craft beer. And so I decided before I got to his house that I was going to allow myself to have a cheat day. It was the middle of it, and I never see this guy, and so we had a couple craft beers, and I think I bummed a smoke or two off of them while I was there. Outside of that, I didn't cheat at all. Next day, I went right back to it. In fact, as soon as I left his house, I went right back to it. Um, so I had a 2 hour cheat window. I brought some pizza over, and we drank a few beers, and I think I had a couple smokes while I was there. So um, just for full disclosure, I thought I'd share that with everybody. Um, so that aside, I want to go through the entire 21 days and just kind of talk about um, how everything went. Starting off with health. So again, this is all based on the whole premise of this is improving yourself a little bit each day. Okay, taking small steps to obtain bigger goals. Okay, so I'm going to go through that, and that's all based on the four pillars of life being health, wealth, love, and happiness. So throughout this thing, if you've watched any of these, that's how I've been examining everything each day. So on the health side, and again, if you decide to do a 21 day challenge, it's all about your goals and what you want. It's not, you don't have to follow the same thing I did. Um, I was at a position where, coming out of a third divorce, in between jobs, whatever, I was kind of um, doing some things I normally wouldn't do, drinking more, smoking, gambling, um, just not my normal behaviors. I thought I was starting to get into some bad habits, so I wanted to, over the next 21 days before I started my new job, establish some good habits and start heading in the right direction that way. So that's why I did the 21 day challenge. So here's what I did. So I eliminated alcohol. Okay, I already had the disclaimer in there. I had the one cheat day. Okay, um, so 21 days without alcohol. Eliminating alcohol made my decision making easier, and it made my body feel cleaner, and I felt like I was in more control. Eliminating nicotine. Eliminating nicotine made me feel a lot healthier. Um, Definitely made me feel more in control of my thoughts and actions. Whenever I have a cigarette, I always feel like, oh, this is winning. This has control over me. So to go 21 days with the one exception, um, really helps you reestablish that, you know what, you do have control over this. You cannot do this. Caffeine, and caffeine's one thing I didn't cheat on. Eliminate caffeine in general. Made me find new ways to get energy out of my diet. I'll talk about some of those things. So the next part, something I haven't really talked about, except with maybe a couple people. Um, and it's just because it's not really a public type discussion. But I want to share it with you because it was a big part of my 21 days. Um, so I eliminated masturbation and casual sex during the 21 days. Um, this gave me more self confidence through self control, and gave me more vitality, creativity, awareness, and energy. I did allow myself, if I were in a relationship and wanted to have sex, that would have been okay. But I wasn't, and so um, none of that So there's no sex or masturbation for the 21 days. Um, Eliminating sex wasn't part of it, but eliminating casual sex was. So if I found somebody that I wanted to be with, it would have been fine. But that didn't happen. There's a lot to be said for that, and I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. But if it really does give you more energy and more self-confidence, and I would imagine it will be a better sexual experience if you were to have one, if you're eliminating extra sex and masturbation. So if that's a topic you'd like to discuss, you can message me and we can discuss that. I'm not going to spend any more time on it here. Diet. So a big part of this was I was on a low-calorie vegetarian diet. I was able to drop from 185 pounds to 179 pounds. I got there by week 2. Didn't change throughout week 3. I didn't really weigh myself while I was gone, but I did weigh myself this morning, and still at the 179.2. So 6 pounds doesn't seem like a big deal. And again, not losing anything in week 3, you're probably like, oh, well, is this really working? And that's a legitimate question. However, the thing you have to remember is I had already lost 20 pounds before this, okay? Back in January, I was 205 pounds. So before I ever did this challenge, I had already lost 20 pounds. So getting to 185 wasn't really an issue. From 205 to 185, that 20 was just normal with my regular, because I'm normally on a vegetarian diet, and I would cheat sometimes or whatever. So with just my normal practices, I was able to do that. So what I did more on the 21-day challenge was really limit the calories and try to get exercise in every day, and drank more water, and did my vitamin supplements every day. And those are all things I did not cheat on at all, except I did bring pizza over to my buddy's house, which I normally wouldn't do. I'd normally just eat nuts and rice and stuff like that. So the fact that I was able to go from 185 to 179 after already losing 20 pounds, because as I said in one of my previous videos, I haven't been in the 170s in probably 12 years. So I've been able to get to the 185, but I haven't been able to get to the 170s. Now I have. Now I'm 179. I'm barely into the 170s. And where that puts me on the BMI index is at a 25, which is right there on the edge of overweight and normal. And so it depends on what chart you look like. So normally a 25 is the bottom of the overweight category. On some of them, it's the top of the normal category. So I'm right there on the cusp of a regular healthy weight and overweight. 1 pound more and I'll be in that healthy weight. So my goal then is to get to 175, so I'm more comfortably into the normal and kind of stay there. But the more impressive thing over losing the 6 pounds is the way I did it. And I went from 185 to 184 to 183 to 182 to 181 to 179. I kind of skipped 180. And then I maintained that, and I was at each one for a few days, but it just gradually went down, and there was no fluctuation up and down and up and down. It just gradually went down. I got into the 170s and I stayed there. I am going to switch some things up. I'm going to do another 21-day challenge with some different goals, and I'll talk about that more. But all in all, I lost 26 pounds. Just during the 21 days, it was the 6. And those were the hardest 6. So that was my point with that. So I'm happy with those results. I am going to go from a vegetarian diet to a raw vegan diet. Something I did over this last week, so I did a lot of research on diets, and not just fads, but just regular diets, and what does your body need, and what does a body require, what eliminates a lot of health risks. And something I have been reading a lot on is enzymes. The body needs enzymes to build tissue and repair cells and stuff like that. And when we cook our food, we don't give our body those enzymes. And so the raw vegan diet, you're basically just eating raw whole foods, and those plants still have those enzymes in them, so your body gets those enzymes. And one enzyme in particular I'm really looking to add to my diet is called KSM66. And you can get this enzyme through and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, ashwagandha root. It's basically, I think they call it Indian ginseng or Indian ginger or something. I don't know. It's a root. And in India, they've always, claimed it has these age-defying properties, and so it's always been used as something to preserve your youth. Well, scientific studies have now concluded that it contains KSM66, which is an enzyme. Okay, this particular enzyme repairs telomeres in your body. Telomeres are basically the end caps of your DNA. Okay, and so these protect your DNA. So you've got consider it a protective wiring or a protective coating on a wire. Okay, and what happens when you're wiring, if that protective coating disintegrates or goes away, you're going to short out that wire. Okay, well, you short out your DNA and you get bad cells, you get cancer cells. Okay, and you die and you age and bad things happen. Okay, so you need these telomeres to preserve your DNA. And naturally, throughout your lifespan, your telomeres just get weaker and weaker and weaker and get shorter and shorter and shorter until your DNA really isn't protected anymore, and that's when you start seeing signs of aging, gray hair, wrinkles, lines, health problems, everything. So KSM66 preserves the telomeres and possibly repairs the telomeres. There's still a lot of research to be done, but what has been done has proven that KSM66, which you can get from ashwagandha root, repairs and maintains your telomeres, which protects your DNA. So I'm going to make sure I'm getting that into my diet. I ordered some, but I haven't got it yet. So I'm going to do more of like whole vegetables, whole fruits in a blender, roots, greens, kind of thing. And so that way I'm getting these enzymes that my body needs. And I think that's going to help me get rid of some more body fat and help me be stronger and healthier overall. Exercise was something, so basically through the 21 days, I just made sure I was doing some kind of physical activity every day. I didn't, this wasn't a weightlifting program or whatever. Now, so I would go on a hike, or I would, go on a walk, go fishing, which that's not really exercise, but I'd walk, out on a trail to a fishing spot, whatever. Just made sure I tried to incorporate nature, which is another thing I'll talk about, but into a lot of my physical activity. I think that's something that's very important as well. So with my exercise, really just made sure, I got some kind of physical activity in every day. Now, towards the 14-day mark, I was like, I really want my picture to have a difference. And so I started lifting Sugar, be quiet. Come here. Okay, I really started lifting while I was at these hotels, and kind of pushed it a little bit and actually hurt my shoulder. So over the last week, I haven't been able to do a whole lot of physical activity as far as lifting, because my shoulders hurt so bad. It's gone into my neck and my back. So I've really just been working on stretching and trying to get that back to feeling normal. And it feels a lot better. It's not 100%, but it feels a lot better. And so I've decided going forward, I'm not really going to focus on lifting. I'm going to do more body type exercises such as yoga, tai chi, Pilates, sit-ups, push-ups, crunches, kickboxing, those kind of things. Because I want to sculpt my muscles better. I think I've gotten rid of most of the fat I want. I still want to lose a little more fat. Now I want to start sculpting some muscle, but I don't really need to be huge, and so I don't think I really need a weightlifting program to do what I want to do. Now again, if you're doing something and that is your goal, that's fine. Okay, I'm not telling people what they need to do. I'm talking about me. And then if you want help making some plans and sticking to it for you, I'd be happy to help you with that. So then nature. I strongly believe that most mental and physical health conditions can be cured or assisted by natural elements. Okay, I will say that again. I strongly believe that most mental and physical health conditions can be cured or assisted by natural elements. So grounding, I'm going to put a link to this. Okay, it's also called earthing. Okay, and there's a lot of research that shows people with fibromyalgia, other inflammatory diseases, can get a lot of relief simply by spending time outside with their shoes off, connecting with the earth. Okay, it's something to do with the ionization of cells or atoms. Atoms, and it relieves inflammation in the body. And I'm going to put some links to it. I'm not an expert on it. I'm going to put the links in the comment section so you can look at that if that's something you're interested in. I just believe in it, and I believe that it works. So getting out, taking your shoes off, immersing yourself in the grass, in the water, standing in a stream, touching the earth, touching a tree. I think these things ground us. I think these things tie us to nature. And I think these, number one, help us mentally, spiritually, and also physically. Which brings me to meditation. So there's a lot of different ways to meditate. And I think I put a couple videos, I think, dealing with meditation and touched on it. So there are sleeping meditations, which I incorporated a lot of those in. So basically it's a guided meditation you can play while you're sleeping, and so in your subconscious you're hearing these things. Walking meditations, mantras, which is saying a prayer over and over and over again, mindfulness, guided meditations. Find something that works for you, or a combination of things that work for you. I try to incorporate meditation into everything. I was listening to meditations while I was mowing, guided meditations, put me in a calmer mindset and relax me. I do morning meditation, I do evening meditation, do sleep meditation, and I do mantras while I'm driving. I do mantras in my free time. So I really think meditation is key to a healthy mind, body, and spirit. And it helped me a lot. I did more meditation over the last 21 days than I have been, and it really did improve my overall mental health. Okay, so that was all the health stuff. Wealth was one of the other 4 pillars. And again, over the last 21 days, I didn't focus a whole lot on that because I didn't really have the means to. I was in between jobs, and so there wasn't a whole lot I could do building wealth. So I did what I could do and what I did have control over. I paid off some debt with some money that I did have. And so I reduced my debt, which in turn increased my credit score. I think my credit score improved 17 points over the last 21 days, which is almost a point a day, which is pretty awesome. Now, it wasn't a point every day. It was one 15-point jump and one 2-point jump. But regardless, over the last 21 days, I improved my credit score 17 points. Um, so I'm going to focus more on wealth over the next 21 days because I'm starting a new job. And so I'm going to have money coming in, and I'm going to be able to make decisions of what to do with that money. One of the other things I did over the past 21 days was put all new windows in my house, which was an investment. Okay, but now I should be able to get more money out of the house when it comes time to sell it. So I'm, using money that I had and investing that into real estate that I have. Wasn't new real estate, but it's improving property that I did have. Okay, so health, wealth, love, self-love. I feel like I'm so much better. I feel better about myself right now than I ever have in my life. And I've had really high points, and I almost hate to say that because there have been points in my life where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm killing it, I'm crushing it, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, getting this girl, I'm getting this job, I'm doing that, and so there's times where I've probably been more excited. Sugar, please, come here. I've been more excited about what I'm doing, but I can't say that I've really felt better because at those times I still didn't see the underlying problems that could arise. I was just, crushing my goals. I feel like right now I have such a better mindset of, a realistic approach to things because I know, problems that can arise from getting the girl, or problems that can arise from getting this job, or problems that can arise from having this vehicle, or whatever. And so I feel like I have more control over my mind. And so I'm still, trying to get this job, and, trying to develop a healthy relationship with a woman, and, trying to do these things, but I just feel like I have more, I'm in a better place to deal with those things when it happens. And so that's why I say I feel better right now than I ever have in my life. So I might not be the, energetic guy jumping up and down and, oh yeah, we're crushing goals and we're doing this, but I am crushing goals, and I also have my pulse on anything else that could arise. Family. I've been able to appreciate the time that I've had with my kids, and I've spent a lot of time with my kids. Now I've been gone a week, and so I didn't really get to during that time period. But the rest of the time, I'm taking them fishing. I'm hanging out with them, cuddling, teaching them stuff on drums or piano or whatever, or, going through coin collections, or, whatever, just really enjoying and appreciating that time. And I feel like I value that time better when I'm not focused on, okay, well, when does this end so then I can go hang out with friends at a bar. That's been non-existent. It's just, awesome. I'm not doing anything right now. Can I have my kids and let's hang out and let's just appreciate this moment. So I really feel good about that. The self-love where I'm at right now, again, I feel better about myself than I ever have in my life. I feel like I can feel better. I feel like there's still room to improve there. I'm just saying I feel more in control of my emotions, my thoughts, my actions right now than I ever have in my life. And it's from doing this 21-day challenge. If you would have asked me 22 days ago, no, I felt like I was a mess. I was just letting outside elements control me and going willy-nilly. And I feel like over the last 21 days, I've really regained the trust in myself to make positive decisions. Relationship. throughout the 21-day challenge, there was one person I was really interested in at the beginning, and I decided to focus on that one relationship. Um, and so instead of trying to talk to multiple people, um, and take what I could get from here or here or here or here, I just kind of let everything else go. Not say I didn't talk to anybody else, but there was no intentions of anything with anybody else, and I wasn't trying to develop a sexual relationship with anybody besides one person that I liked and wanted to pursue. Um, that kind of backfired about halfway through the process. She took an interest in somebody else, and that's fine. Um, it didn't change how I felt, so I still feel good because I wasn't pursuing other interests. Um, I focused on one and what I wanted, and I didn't get it this time. And that's okay. Um, but I was still in control of my actions and my thoughts and my emotions. And so overall, I feel really good about that. Now, I do have one other interest that I may try to pursue, but there's complications there and obstacles there that might be hard to get through. So, but I'm not overly invested in obtaining a romantic relationship right now. I'm okay. The cool thing is, um, going back to the sex and masturbation thing, without that even being kind of a focus, you're really able to just look at things and go, okay, what outside of that, what qualities do I want? So I've made a list of ideal qualities I want in a uh, relationship, and with somebody that I'd be in a relationship with, and so I kind of have that guide now, and it's like, okay, well, does she have this? Does she have that? Does she have that? And there's one person I think that checks a lot of those boxes, and if that works, great. If it doesn't, that's fine too. But I don't feel any sense of loss or anything if I don't get that, because I'm filling myself up with the self love, with the family love. And so, yes, would it be nice to have a companion to talk about the day with and whatever? Sure, everybody wants that, but I can wait around for that, and wait for me to be in the right place for that to happen. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at with that. Um, so also on that aspect, without sex as an objective, it's easy to love beauty and compassion. Okay, so I'm I can just appreciate anything beautiful right now, and I can appreciate anything that shows love or compassion. Um, and I don't have to go, oh well, that's not somebody I'm supposed to talk to because in this relationship or whatever. I can just appreciate any beautiful person. I can appreciate any beautiful act. I can appreciate any act of loving kindness, and just appreciate that for love, for right now. Again, it'd be nice to have a companion, um, and that is a goal of mine, and that's something I'm going to continue to work on over the next 21 days and even into the future. Um, So then the fourth pillar, happiness. Again, happiness is a combination of all these things: health, wealth, love. Honestly, happiness is probably, the more I've gone through this and thought about it, more of the mental aspect of health. I think if you're happy, you're mentally well. And so I've covered a lot of that in the health section on the first pillar. So, um, but again, I'm so much happier right now than I was when I started this. And it's not a fake happy. It's not a, um, oh well, I got to ride a four-wheeler and that's fun, or whatever. It's just a feeling of contentment inside that I- I'm not I'm not really riding a wave of happy sad. I'm just moving along, and I'm okay with whatever's thrown at me. I'm excited about some things, my new job, and um, you know some things I'm learning about my health and about myself. And so there's interest and there's desire there, but it's not. Oh, I'm so blissfully happy and I have to be way up here. Because when you have that, then you also have the way down here's. And so I think throughout these 21 days, through the meditation and everything I've been doing, I've just been kind of working, there's still swells and, ups and downs, but I think it's on a more even frequency where I'm just, you know, kind of more content and happy to uh, continue to improve myself, and happy to see what happens next. So again, there's a lot of things I'm excited about: the new diet, the new job, um, and see where those things go. And hopefully, be working on a romantic relationship soon. But in the meantime, I'm just enjoying where I'm at and what I'm learning. And honestly, not being in a romantic relationship, I'm able to do a lot more um, research into health, and I probably would have never looked into the enzyme things or the whole food stuff or anything like that. If I was in a relationship, I'd be giving that person my attention. Well, right now I can give me that attention, and so since I'm giving that attention to me, I'm not looking for somebody to give me that attention. So it's actually been kind of nice. I actually spent 4 days in a cabin by myself with a hurt shoulder, and I was great company to myself. I stretched and worked out my shoulder over those 4 days, and read and learned and meditated, and went and enjoyed the outside a little bit. And you know, uh, I think everybody should take 21 days to look at themselves. Everybody should spend their lifetime looking at themselves and where they're at and how they're connecting and what their needs are. Um, so, I encourage anybody to take on this challenge. I'm going to do it again starting now. I'm on my next 21-day challenge. So, with this one, I think again I'm gonna try to keep the alcohol and stuff like that out. I don't think any of that was benefiting me, um, and just going to move forward with a healthier diet. And I'm going to focus a lot more again now on the wealth. I think I've got the health kind of in line. There's a few more things I'm working there, and so I'm going to start focusing more on the wealth generation, and also working on hopefully building some kind of romantic relationship with somebody, if the right person comes along. So that's it. Thanks for joining me on this 21-day challenge, and hope something helped. I'm going to post some links to some of the stuff I talked about on here in the notes. And thanks for listening.